Mountain, Island, Lightning Bolt, Spell Pierce, Switchblade, Stab Wound, Red Mage, Blue Mage.
Nice. You should lead us off today.
Lead us. I can barely sit up. Like, what are you talking about? Leading us. Leading what? A podcast? An intro? Isn't this good enough? Welcome. I've led you into a corner in the house of sadness and garbage.
Oh, I thought it was going to turn into a horror story there for a second.
Oh, no.
To be murdered.
To be murdered. No. If I was going to murder you, it would be out in the woods somewhere.
It'd be in front of your family and friends.
Wow. Welcome to Red Mage, Blue Mage, where I'm going to talk about how I'm going to murder Kenny.
I mean, it wouldn't be that big of a mood shift from many episodes or our relationship with each other.
Wow. All right. Well, I led us into Red Mage, Blue Mage. Now I have nothing else to give or to show because I'm a little goblin who lives under the floorboards eating lobster rolls and farting. So I don't know what's going on in the world. I suppose there's a world out there that contains Magic the Gathering. That's not Jumpstart. That's not me playing Arena, the same historic deck over and over again that I could choose to engage with if I knew about it.
Yeah, that's true. So I like this image of you being the goblin under the floorboards, eating the crumbs of magic news that fall down from the table of those who are making a feast of it.
That's really good. I shouldn't have said lobster roll. I guess I should really figure out what the crumbs are going to be as after. So let me do this. The pieces of news that you give me, I will tell you what kind of crumbs they are.
Okay. Like what food they would be represented by.
And whether the goblin enjoys it or not.
Okay, this is good. I like this. All right, so let's get into some quote-unquote breaking news.
Dateline, Dominaria, 4823. This is your multiverse breaking news.
Okay, we've got two big sections of breaking news here. The first is alchemy, and I believe you know nothing about alchemy. Is this true?
I know some things about alchemy because a part of being under the floorboards is that I can still kind of hear conversations as people partake in the feast that Wizards of Coast keeps ramming down y'all's gullets. Yeah. So I know that alchemy is a new, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, a new format.
Yes.
A new format that exists only in Arena.
Yes, so it is digital only. This does not exist on paper.
Okay. That is as far as I can go. I know one other fact is that people are now kind of like, oh no, what is going to happen to standard? And what is going to happen to standard paper? And that kind of stuff. So I know that also the grumblings.
Yes.
As well.
So the reason those grumblings exist is because the card pool of alchemy is exactly the same card pool as standard. It is the standard, whatever the most recent sets are, except there are two key differences. One is that instead of banning cards, they're going to just alter the text of the cards in digital only. And they'll nerf some cards and buff some cards. So just change the mana costs, change the text of the cards, power, toughness, tweak things to bring it into the balance that they would like it to be at. So it's kind of like fixed standard.
Okay.
So that's one key difference. Which is why people are like grumbling that paper standard is dead and standard in general is dead. Because who's going to want to play standard, broken ass, ugly ass standard with its cards that aren't good enough to play and other cards that are way too broken when you could be playing on Arena with a well balanced standard, quote unquote.
Can I react?
Yeah, please.
I just feel like this is such a headache from a development side, not even from a player side. Like for me as a person who works, like I said, we've talked about many times in R&D, where it's just yet another place that you have to control and update and keep aligned with things. And the more complexity you add to stuff like that, the more untenable it becomes, and the more mistakes tend to happen, and the more confusion tends to happen. And so my gut reaction to hearing this is, one, sucks to be an R&D yet again, Magic. Like, unless they have some internal systems that make it easy to track and revise and review, which I'm sure they probably do. They probably they probably have better systems than what I'm used to. But, like, it feels like such a headache, and I'm already, like, overwhelmed by thinking about the revision process to this stuff. It's like, why not take the time to make it balanced to begin with?
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. You know, I don't think they're going to be hiring, like, doubling the size of R&D to make this work. So instead, I think what you're going to see is they're going to say, F it, we're just going to print the cards we want to in paper. And if they're broken, they're broken. Who cares? Because our player base is going to want to play the non-broken format, which will be on Arena and Alchemy, and we can just balance the cards live there. I think that's part of their thinking here.
So Arena is basically Alchemy's patch.
Yeah,
like
it's the standards patch.
Standards patch.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, this is triggering for me. I don't mean that lightly. Like, I literally have panic attacks about this kind of stuff from my day job.
Right. Because
it's capitalism. Capitalism pisses me off. Like, in the sense of they don't want the machine. Once the machine is running smoothly, it's like, oh wow, this machine runs smoothly. How can we make it run even smoother and even faster and faster and faster and faster and make it make more and more and more and more money? Like, at some point I feel like, what? Like, how much money can you possibly, like, what is the limit? Why why can't a company go, hey, you know what? This is our goal, and this supports us, and this makes us, there's no cap. They keep always trying to make more money. So you end up sacrificing consistency and, like, well-balanced and well thought out and really innovative stuff because you're just trying to add more dollars to the bottom line. And that's speed to market, and that's why I feel like, for me, and we haven't talked about Magic much as of late. My feelings about Magic is, like, just keeping up with Magic feels like a fucking full-time job.
And for some people it is their full-time job.
Yeah, and good for them. I mean, I suppose great for Wizards to have those people who make it their full-time job to make content around stuff or reviews or whatever it is that they're doing that's not not paid by Wizards, but they're making their own money in a secondary market. So
yeah, I mean, but even those people, like, it's been a pretty consistent thing that content creators have said, is just, it's exhausting. Like, if you want to be on top of things and get stuff out, like, look at us, we are not on the cutting edge. Like, this news is a week and a half old at the time of recording. When we put it out, it will be 2 weeks old. But we don't sweat it. Like, we're not making our living off this.
Yeah, no. Oh boy. Yeah. If we can make it a living and this goblin could, eat a sandwich instead of just the thoughts of a sandwich, that'd be great. But yeah, even now there's Kamigawa spoilers coming out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't even get to talk about Alchemy, and now we're not even going to talk about that in this episode because that's for another episode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's never ending. I mean, I guess it kind of reminds me, if I can go on a little bit of a tangent, it reminds me of people constantly saying, like, when's the superhero trend going to die out? Like, it can't keep going on like this. Except it does. It just does keep going on. And I feel like as a community, we've been saying, oh my gosh, never-ending spoiler season, never-ending hype train, just perpetual, forever. It just keeps going and never stops. When can it stop? We're going to get exhausted. And I do feel that, that level of, like, mental exhaustion. I don't get excited about spoilers the way that I used to, but clearly it's working, and it's been working for them for a little while now. So, seems like that's not going to change.
We'll see. I mean, not to sound like ancient, we are, but, you know, it's still, it's, yeah, you just burn out on stuff. It's kind of like how we last talked about Crimson Vow, because that was something I completely missed, right? Like,
Right.
I kind of saw emails come through, and I deleted them immediately, because I said, not today, Magic. I have too many other things in my brain for your vampire wedding. And I talked about how I'm very meh about vampires,
Right.
and how that I'm always looking for something that turns it into, I don't know, something more interesting, more engaging, something different than your usual run-of-the-mill vampire story. And I actually got to experience that in media. There was a vampire media that came out that like completely was like I was super engaged in it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And that was Midnight Mass, which I've briefly talked to you about. And, you know, if anybody's listening to this and they are interested in a Netflix series about vampires that's very, very different than any other vampire story I mean, they hit the tropes, but
right.
like the storytelling is done in a very different way than I was used to. It feels more like a play. It feels more character driven and more slow and not like quick to show its hand, and I really, really like that.
Yeah. Caveat for that recommendation: if you're into vampires, religion or religious themes, and
human behavior
and existentialism,
yes, yeah.
Then if that sounds like it's in your wheelhouse, then go check it out for sure.
And look, if you're listening to us and you listen to me, I don't know, I'm just saying.
yeah, you'll probably be interested in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a little off track there, which is A-okay. So
Whatever.
I was saying, it's basically standard, Alchemy is, with two key differences. One, some of the cards are nerfed or buffed. The other difference is that there will be extra cards that are not in standard, that are digital exclusive design cards. So these are cards like came out a little while ago in the historic collection that like conjure cards into your deck, like do things that you couldn't do in paper, basically. Like permanently change power and toughness of cards in your hand. You couldn't do that with a non-digital game. You couldn't do that in paper. So this allows them to add some of these cards into standard. That's what Alchemy is. Okay, so I have a list here. I have a list here of pros and cons, but yeah, do you want to give your any additional thoughts so far?
No.
Okay, let me hit you with some pros and cons as I see them, and as I've gathered from how the community feels, and then maybe we can talk some more. Okay, pro number 1: standard sucks and has sucked for a long ass time.
Yes.
There have been lots of broken decks, lots of broken cards for a long time. Right now, it feels very stale. It'll actually be kind of cool if the card is broken, instead of waiting for data to come in and then hemming and hawing, and then they ban it, and then you have those feel bads. They can just tweak it immediately. And if the tweak is too little or too much, they can tweak it again. And even more so, when they have certain cards that are cool and would be fun to play with, but they didn't quite get there, they're not strong enough, they can buff those. And now these cards that would have been fun to play with, we get to play with them in standard and not feel like they just don't stack up. So that's kind of neat. Con, we already talked about this one, is basically kills standard as a format. Like, who's going to play standard?
Right.
When this exists? Especially with the pandemic still in its death throes, I hope.
God, Omicron, though.
The ongoing pandemic, it just puts more pressure to play digitally. So, I, in my opinion, standard, and especially paper standard, is just going to die. I don't know why people would want to play it. Which, I don't know how upset to be about that.
I mean,
or if you are.
I'm not. I don't think it really bothers me because I don't engage with standard at all, and in fact, I actually prefer Arena over paper a lot of the times, just because I like playing ridiculous number counting, like numbers go up decks, and I don't want to do that manually, and so it's really nice to have a program that does it for me, and I don't have to worry about it.
also nice that just when you're playing a game with someone, you don't have to keep track of the turns and steps, and you never have those moments where it's like, but wait, how does this work if that... It's like all very clear.
It's all taken care of, and I don't have to think. I mean, the less I have to think, the better, honestly.
In general.
Yes, in general.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset about that either. I think the people who are really into their local game stores, I think it will suck for them the most, and it sucks for the local game stores. I don't really care about that. I never found a local game store that I was like, ooh, this is awesome. Try as I might to have done that.
You only tried once.
That's not true. I tried in high school, I tried in college, and I tried after college.
So 3 times.
That 3 times is a pattern, so...
I suppose you can only go... I mean, I forget that you've moved like twice in your life total, and I've moved like a million times, so...
I'm not saying there aren't sweet like game stores out there. I'm saying in my neck of the woods, the game stores are... It's like they're directly lifted and removed from like a Simpsons parody into real life. Those are my local game stores, and it's not fun. So, that's fine by me. Okay, more stuff. Pros, fun new digital-only designs, sweet cards that were never good enough to see the light of day, get a chance to shine. That's cool. Now onto some cons, and these are some things we haven't talked about so far. 1. For some reason, they decided that the rebalanced cards will also be rebalanced in Historic.
That makes me mad.
Yes. Would you care to elaborate?
I play Historic the most. And I don't know, I like the broken ass shit that happens in Historic.
Yeah, I mean, you want to play older Eternal formats because you want to do more broken things.
Yeah, I love that broken shit in Historic, and I don't want that to happen.
So now if they decide a card is too good for Alchemy, it'll get nerfed, and that might affect your Historic deck.
No, and then my beautiful vampire dogs are gonna all change.
That's possible. And along with that, they've also, their policy currently, as of recording, is when they nerf a card, you do not get a refund, and you do not get a wild card.
Wow, that's bullshit.
Yeah, so this is a way for them, if they want to effectively ban cards without giving you anything back. Because they can just say, well, you can just take these cards and play them somewhere else.
No. If I bought a hot dog, and then the hot dog vendor came up to me right before I bit into it, and then slapped the hot dog out and replaced it with a corn dog. I mean, yeah, it's a corn dog. I love corn dogs, but I bought a hot dog, god damn it. Where's my hot dog?
I feel like it should almost be like if you bought like a beautiful Chicago-style hot dog made of like real, sausage and like has all
real dog.
Out of real something really great, and they slap it out of your hands and replace it with like a cold Oscar Mayer wiener on a stale bun
on a piece of bread,
and you're like, I want a refund. They're like, no, you still have a hot dog. What do you want? I mean,
look,
you got what you paid for.
I didn't ask you to alchemy
Improve.
My analogy, but I feel like what happened is another example of this whole situation. Quite frankly, I want a refund from that.
Well, in the spirit of WotC and in the spirit of this episode, I deny your refund.
I concede and go cry. Because I don't have any power.
Yeah, so those are kind of the pros cons. So now we can get into our feelings about these things. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to?
My feelings have been felt throughout the entire discussion. I feel like they're very clear. I don't care about paper standard, so I'm fine if it goes digitally. I don't like the idea that my historic decks that I've built in Arena will potentially be fucked with. And I also don't really like that I won't get some sort of compensation for having my cards be altered in a way that it's like it's an Arena, I guess, but I still have the paper card of it. and that's the card I have, and that's the card I want to play with, it pisses me off in that way. I also think that, and I feel like it's capitalism, and that's it, the end.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest L's are, as you said, people getting screwed on not getting refunds or wild cards when your cards get nerfed. I think it's also a huge L, just paper not matching digital in general. I think it's confusing. I think it's going to be hard to get people to make the leap, harder to make people make the leap in between paper and digital when it's like, here are two cards with exactly the same name, but they cost different and they do different things. It's like, what? I feel like that might be kind of hard to... It's just another point of... It's another obstacle to understanding and getting into the game in a game that already has a lot of obstacles to getting into it and understanding what's going on. And then lastly, while I understand that WotC wants to take advantage of their digital platform and allows them to edit cards after it's been released, it feels pretty damn lazy on their part. It's like they're going, all right, you all do our playtesting. We can't be bothered to figure out that Omnath and Oko are busted beyond all reason.
That makes me... That's why I said capitalism. That encompasses that. It's ridiculous to me. Where it's like, why aren't you guys doing a thorough round of playtesting with outside of Wizards? You know what I mean? I know the fear of spoilers, and I know all this and all that. But if you make an NDA very clear, and that you could sue people for stuff, and there would be damages. It's, as the user experience person, the UX of me is like, you should be doing so many rounds of UX testing outside of the company with real consumers who build real decks, who engage with Magic in a way that could find these flaws. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's one of the tricky things about Magic because it's paper and digital. Like, in a digital-only TCG, I have a lot less problem with just rebalancing stuff on the fly. Because it's like, it's easy to do, card goes out there, it's busted, you change it, that card has changed across the board. When you have two different sets, it's a lot harder. Okay, well that's Alchemy. Are you ready to go on to news piece number 2?
Yes, take me there. I'm hungry. Oh wait, I didn't tell you the flavor of that one.
Oh yeah, what was that flavor / food of that news crumb?
Pimento loaf.
Yeah, that's really good.
I like the bologna part. But I don't like anything else about pimento loaf.
Yeah, there's a germ, there's a seed of something good in there. But it's buried under a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, what even is pimento?
And with that, we will ponder as we go into a break. Sometimes, winning a game isn't about dealing the most damage, or drawing the most cards, or making any measurable contribution towards victory. But hey, just because you don't have the stats doesn't mean you're not a f***ing gamer god, alright? Enter The Intangibles, a podcast on the Geekspective Network, where me, Kenny, and my brother Matt break down all the things that are hard to quantify in games. All kinds of games. We're talking classics like Sonic's the Hedgehogs, and chess, and 3D Pinball Space Cadet. Great game, by the way. We're talking new releases like...
Insert latest trending games on Twitch here.
Single player, co-op, competitive, card games, board games, role-playing games, play-by-mail games, the Wakes. We do deep dives into our favorite games, digging into the intangibles that make them great and the intangibles that will make you a better player, and hey, maybe even a better person. Check out the intangibles on whatever the heck platform you're listening to right now.
Okay, take me away. Take me away, our favorite place. I don't know how that song goes.
I don't even know what that song is.
Oh, well, look it up. Jeez, get on the internet.
By the way, while I was hanging out with Seth, he showed me a new Carrie Underwood song called Stretchy Pants.
Okay, how's it go?
I put my stretchy pants on and I'm comfy now. I don't remember how it was. It was truly awful.
If you could have just said that, I would have believed you 100%.
It's not far off. If you want to torture your ears,
stretchy pants and I like to fart.
it's pretty
Feels
close.
good to be alone.
Okay, so news morsel number 2, tumbling off the tabletop, is UNFINITY. What is UNFINITY?
Well, sounds like it's an unset to meaniny.
That's correctity. It's the 4th unset. So the unsets, if you're unfamiliar, are goofy sets that aren't actually part of the Magic canonical multiverse, and they're made up of a bunch of joke and or wacky cards. That's the deal. And in general, they have silver borders instead of black borders, and that indicates that they are not tournament legal. They're not legal cards in most situations. They're not even legal technically in Commander, although, of course, Rule 0, Rule 1, whatever it is, if your group says, yeah, go ahead and play with silver border cards, knock yourself out. But anyway, so this one is set in a sci-fi theme park in space. So it's the first unset that has like a cohesive like setting that it resides in.
Yeah.
Most of them are just like collection of wacky cards. This one is set on Myra the Magnificent's intergalactic astrotorium of fun. And I think that's cool. I think that's a cool direction for them to take it and a new area for them to explore. However, this set will be black bordered, not silver bordered. This will be black bordered.
Why?
So
that sounds like they're like, well, we can tweak it in Arena.
Well, what it means, there's a little catch here, because that sounds like, oh my god, these are going to be tournament legal. Some of them will. So what they've decided to do is the little hollow stamp at the bottom of the card, you know?
Yes. They put a butt.
They'll put an acorn on cards that are not tournament legal, and they'll have like a regular, I don't know, triangle on ones that actually can be played in Eternal formats, including Commander, including Legacy, including Vintage.
Is acorn because Mark Rosewater loves squirrels?
That's correct. That's correct.
Wow. To be a man who gets to determine icons on a game.
That's true. Other things to note about UNFINITY, it will have full art sci-fi themed lands with like planets and space vistas, and it will also have borderless sci-fi shock lands. So the come into play tapped unless you pay 2 life dual lands from Ravnica, they're getting reprinted and they're going to get a borderless sci-fi treatment. So those are the things of note. That's what this set is.
Someone's getting wet about that, but it ain't me.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's good that they're getting some reprints on, in-demand lands. And, of course, it'll make the set more desirable to get, so...
I'm just not a space person.
What?
I'm just not a space person.
I guess Gideon the Ninth is, like, tangentially space.
The space is immaterial to the whole story of Gideon Ninth, in my opinion. Like, why I like it.
You don't get hard for the space aspect of the Lot Tomb. You like Star Wars. You like those wars in the stars.
But Star Wars is barely sci-fi. It's like
more
it's like
space
fantasy
opera.
In space.
Yeah, that's true.
And I also don't care about, like, I don't know, the stars and stuff.
I'm always thinking about the stars.
I forgot about that. No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like something I like that's like, ooh yeah, space time, baby. Can't wait to watch a little bit of space time stuff.
I mean, I guess you like things that come from space.
I like 2001: A Space Odyssey, but I like it for the existential horror of...
Well, I mean, if you define it like that, then nobody likes space anything. Because, of course, nobody cares about just empty space.
Come on.
You care about...
No, they like the planets. They like the stars. They like the spaceships. And they like the... I'm sure somebody likes the raw space shit in space stuff.
You like Star Trek. Stars right in the name, for God's sakes.
Look, Star Trek is I like one.
If you say Star Trek is not about space, I don't want to hear it.
I like one Star Trek, and that Star Trek is called Deep Space Nine. And Deep Space Nine is about a space colony, and as a colony, and I'm sorry, it's all about I like the characters.
Sure,
it could have been set in anywhere else. As a genre, space means nothing to me.
So whenever I'm telling you, wow, I learned an interesting fact today about neutron stars and exactly how symmetrical they are, you don't care.
Good for them. Why do I care? What's that star gonna do for me? Am I gonna get crumbs from that neutron star? No, I won't. That neutron star doesn't know anything about me under the floorboards. How dare? Fuck that star.
How did we get here? Oh, right. Unsets are set in space. This unset is set in space. Okay.
I like The Mandalorian.
True. That's also, you
but
would
he's on
say,
a planet.
It's a samurai movie, basically. Yes. Okay.
Name one space thing I like.
I've named multiple. Okay. So, your feelings. You don't care about the setting. Doesn't do anything for you. What about... Okay, so space doesn't do anything for you. What about theme park?
I like theme parks.
Is that fun to you?
If I get to build them.
So maybe that will do something for you. Maybe some of these cards will... What's that?
Is it a theme park?
Yeah. It's a theme park in space. That's the set. Were you listening when I was talking earlier?
There was a name that was like 16 words long, and at some point I just shut down. What was the name of the place?
From my notes, what I said. Set in a sci-fi theme park in space. Myra the Magnificent's intergalactic astrotorium of fun.
So I got stuck there. I didn't hear any of the words before it. I just started thinking about, wow, that's a lot of words for a place. And that's all I thought.
Okay.
Nom 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 nom.
But yeah, I feel like that's something that you would like. There will be... The fantasy races will be there. There are going to be goblins. Are you excited about that?
I'm always excited about goblins. They better not put any goblins in there.
Yeah, so here's one goblin that's already been spoiled. It's called the Space Family Goblinson. 2 red-green for a 1/1 legendary creature, Goblin Guest. The Space Family Goblinson has trample as long as you've rolled 3 or more dice this turn. Whenever you roll a die, put a 1/1 counter on the Space Family Goblinson. Dice rolling and goblins, all in one.
Wow. We'll have to see.
Yep. So I get a kick out of the unsets. I think they're cool. I've never purchased like a pack of uncards. I've never drafted them. I have purchased singles of them. So I purchased Urza Academy Headmaster for my cube because it's just too much fun. So, there's a chance that there's something that gets made in this that I'll be like, huh, that's actually really fun, and I would like to put it in my cube. I do think it's really worrying that some of these cards are going to be legal in Eternal formats because they have a track record of printing really busted chase cards in their like spin-off sets. So we just came off of Modern Horizons 2, and Ragavon and the Elemental Incarnation Evoke Mythics are all incredibly broken and are just wrecking Modern. So I don't see why that won't happen here as well, or what's to stop them.
They have not had a good track record of balancing anything. In fact, they have such a bad track record of balancing things, they made up a whole new format so that they can rebalance things. Wow! If again, I didn't ask for the sad hot dog on a piece of fucking 35-calorie loaf bread.
Yeah. I think it's pretty crazy. Funnily enough, little tangent here. Speaking of these broken cards, Seth was recently showing me a video of a new deck that has emerged in Modern called Money Pile, and it is just a collection of all the most expensive cards in Modern. The deck costs over $3,000 to build, and it is very, very strong.
Go figure.
Yeah. So that's not a good place for a format to be.
So
what
I'm hearing is that Wizards of the Coast right now, while making tons of money because they are Wizards of the Coast, is they're also very weak in one specific area. And so we have to come up with a card game now and just get them! Get them!
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Kenny, you and I, let's do it. 2022.
Oh, I thought we were going to spitball right now.
Oh, no. Fuck no. I'm too hungry. It's been like 35 minutes. I'm ready to go to bed.
Just give me a little morsel. What's the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're going to come up with the name of this trading card game. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You gotta get them.
Why did I expect anything else, honestly?
It's to be a goblin collecting game.
Honestly, it would sell like hotcakes.
I would. Look, I have broken into some weird internet space of goblin VTubers, and they are wild for goblins. They'll gobble them up.
I wonder if when I'm editing this, I'm just going to bleep every time you say goblin, so that we can market this and make this later on. And also, it'll sound really dirty every time one of us says.
Gotta grab them. Pull them up.
Oh my god.
Get them while they're hot. Could you imagine? Oh my god, Kenny, we could make a collecting game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna bleep all of this because this is cash in the bank.
Don't let Wizards know.
We could let them know all they wanted because they've shown that they do not want to print those.
Print what?
Those things. Oh, fuck's sake.
Whatever. I don't care.
All right.
Coming.
I think that's
2023.
Wow.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It's what's gonna get me, take me to my next level of life.
Sounds good to me. Take me along with you.
Take me away, my favorite place.
Okay, I think with that we can wrap up. Thanks for joining us on this adventure into 2 big pieces of news that we got recently. Join us next week when Wizards drops at least 5 more huge morsels of news. Oh, real quick, I guess before we go, and this will be our closing note before we sign off. What was the flavor of UNFINITY, that morsel that dropped to you beneath the floorboards?
A Dippin' Dot.
Nice, yeah. I buy that. Theme park. That makes sense. All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to sign off. Thanks for joining us. You can find us on Twitter at RedBlueMTG. She's Amber at Rocket Orca. I'm Kenny at Wolfmere. Until next time, I'll be representing Counterspell.
Wow, I got a handful of if you bleep that, that'd be great too.